Hello students, good morning and welcome to your social science class. Students, we are doing the chapter from trade to territory, right? So in our last class, we came to know that the company, the East India Company, set up their first base or factory on the bank of River Hooghly in the year 1651. From there, they started operating their trade. They even convinced the local merchants to settle there so that they can expand their trade easily and conveniently. Later on, the company started adopting various illegal measures to expand their trade. For example, they bribed the Mughal officials to give them zamindari rights over 3 more villages. One of the village was Kalikata, which is presently known as Kolkata. Not only that, the company was also trading privately without paying any taxes. The company was allowed to trade duty-free by a farman which was granted by Aurangzeb, but they were not satisfied with that. They were trading privately also without paying any taxes, and when they were asked to pay taxes, they simply refused. So after Aurangzeb, some new rulers also came up. For example, after Aurangzeb, Murshid Quli Khan came, and after Murshid Quli Khan, Alivardi Khan came. When Alivardi Khan died in 1756, Sirajuddaulah became the next Nawab of Bengal, and all these Nawabs, all these rulers were very powerful. None of them agreed to the demands of the East India Company. They started opposing the East India Company. They stopped giving them concessions. They demanded for larger tributes. They stopped them from building forts, from minting coins. They even accused the company of insulting or humiliating the Bengal Nawabs. The company, on the other hand, also expressed their grievances by stating that the demands of the Bengal Nawabs were very unfair, and they wanted their territory to expand because they wanted their trade to flourish. So they wanted to have more villages, and so they wanted to build up forts. So all these issues led to conflict between the Bengal Nawabs and the East India Company. Meanwhile, the company found it very difficult to expand their trade during the reign of Sirajuddaulah. So the company helped one of his rivals to become the next Bengal Nawab. When Sirajuddaulah came to know about this, he became very angry, and this led to a battle between Sirajuddaulah and the East India Company in the year 1757. So Sirajuddaulah was defeated in the Battle of Plassey. One of the primary reasons of this defeat was because he was betrayed by one of his commanders, Mir Zafar, with the hope of becoming the next Bengal Nawab. So students, when Sirajuddaulah was defeated, Mir Zafar was made the new Nawab. But after that, Mir Zafar too started protesting against the British. And so the British dethroned Mir Zafar as well and brought Mir Qasim in his place. And when Mir Qasim too revolted, they bought Mir Zafar again and dethroned Mir Qasim this time. But Mir Zafar was bought on the condition that he would have to pay a tribute of rupees 5 lakh to the British. So students, with the passage of time, the British changed their mood, and this time they decided that instead of bribing the officials, instead of defeating the officials, Nawabs, they themselves should become the Nawabs. So that is how the idea of establishing rule over India came up in the minds of the British. So in the year 1765, the British was appointed as the Diwan of Bengal, which means that the British could now have access to all the vast resources of Bengal. So the British started using the Indian wealth for their own benefit. They started using the Indian wealth to buy the various raw materials like cotton, textile, pepper, etc. So the British, after acquiring all this wealth, started considering themselves as the Nawabs. So students, yes, we shall now proceed with our today's class. So today we shall start with the topic how the company officials turned into Nawabs. So students, let us now begin with our today's class. Students, the word Nawab is derived or is taken from the Urdu word Nawab. When we say Nawab, it means someone who is very strong, someone who is very powerful, who has the authority, right? So the word Nawab is derived from the word Nawab, which refers to the high officials or the princes of the Mughal Empire. So students, what happened after acquiring the Diwan? That means after acquiring the position of the Diwani, the East India Company was able to use the vast resources of Bengal. So they acquired great fortune, they acquired a huge sum of wealth, and from there they started considering themselves as the Nawabs. They felt like kings, so they considered themselves as the Nawabs. So students, what happened to the actual Nawabs? The condition of the actual Nawabs became very pathetic because they were forced to give a huge plot of land. They were forced to give money to the British officials. So their condition, the condition of the actual Nawabs, became very pathetic. It was even said that Robert Clive, who was the British commander, he made a fortune of worth 401, that is 401.102 pound during his stay in India. That means he was a very corrupted official, and he was made the governor of Bengal in the year 1764. And students, it is quite ironical that when he was made the governor, the parliament, the British parliament, had ordered him to look after all the corruption activities that were going on at that time. But the parliament did not know that he himself was the root cause of all the corruption that was going on. So what happened when he was suspected of all the wealth that he had? Then what happened? The Bengal government had cross-examined him in 1772 when they suspected him of his vast wealth. So when the truth came out, he was very ashamed, and later on he committed suicide. So students, that's the story of Robert Clive. That's how he became the Nawab, and that's how he was charged of corruption, and later on he committed suicide. But students, after Robert Clive, the various British officials came. All of them were not that corrupt, or all of them were not very dishonest like Clive. Most of them belonged to a very humble background, and they simply wanted to lead a very comfortable life. They were not very corrupt. And some of them were like Robert Clive, who wanted to flaunt the wealth. So they were often made fun of because of their arrogance and show off. They often were ridiculed because of their vast wealth, because all of a sudden they acquired all this wealth. So most of the time they were made fun of. So students, what happens? By using a variety of social, political, economic and diplomatic strategies, the company started annexing one kingdom after another. So if we observe, we will see that the company never attacked any kingdom directly. The British were very sharp, they were very clever. So what they did, they adopted various strategies, and by using those strategies, they started capturing, or they started annexing one kingdom after the other. They started a very important policy known as the subsidiary alliance, which we will be discussing little later. Okay, so what happened? At first they appointed residents in the Indian states. So residents means people who would be residing in the Indian states. The main purpose of appointing these residents was to know about all the internal affairs that were going on in the states at that time. So with the help of these residents, the British started interfering in the internal matters of Bengal. For example, whom to choose as the successor, or whom to choose as the next king, whom to appoint as the administrative officer, etc., etc. So with the help of these residents, the British started interfering in the internal affairs of the various states. So that's how we can understand how strategic or how clever they were. So students, one of their strategy was to develop an alliance. The name of the alliance was Subsidiary Alliance. According to this alliance, the Nawabs or the rulers were required to keep British armed forces. They were not allowed to keep their own independent armed forces. Not only that, they were also required to pay a huge sum of money for the maintenance of these armed forces. So the meaning of subsidiary alliance is that no ruler, that means no ruler was allowed to keep their own army, to keep their own armed forces. Rather, they were required to keep the British army, and they were also required to pay a sum of money for the maintenance of these subsidiary forces. And in case if a ruler fails to make the payment, then as a penalty or as a punishment, you can say that ruler is required to give a part of their land to the British, a part of their territory to the British. See the strategy that they have adopted. So subsidiary alliance means no ruler was allowed to keep their own independent army. They were supposed to keep the British army as a part of their army, and they were also supposed to pay a huge sum of money for this maintenance. And if they fail to give them money, if they fail to make the payment, then they were required to give a part of their territory as a penalty or as a fee to the British. In fact, there was an example that once when the Nawab of Awadh failed to give this payment to the then Governor General Richard Wellesley, he was required to give away half his territory to the British government. So this was one instance of how the system of subsidiary alliance exploited the Indian rulers and Nawabs. So meanwhile, in Mysore, a very strong power was rising. So students, Mysore was a state which was run under the kingship of some brave and powerful, or you can say courageous rulers like Hyder Ali. Okay, Hyder Ali ruled Mysore from 1761 to 1782. That means a span of 21 years. So Hyder Ali ruled Mysore for 21 years, and after him his brave son Tipu Sultan took the throne. That means Hyder Ali's son took the throne from 1782 to 1799. That means Tipu Sultan ruled for a span of 27 years. The company this time faced threat to its political and economic interest. Since Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali both were very powerful and brave and courageous rulers, the company saw some kind of threat that was marching towards them. The trade of Malabar coast was under the control of Mysore. So students, Mysore was ruled by Tipu Sultan and his father Hyder Ali, and the trade of Malabar coast was entirely under the supervision of Tipu Sultan. So once it happened that in the year 1765, Tipu Sultan had stopped the export of pepper and cardamom from the ports of Malabar coast, and even prevented the local merchants from trading with the company, because Tipu Sultan was aware of the bad intentions or the evil intentions of the company. So he stopped the export of pepper and cardamom from the Malabar coast, which was under his control, and he even stopped the local merchants from trading with the company. Moreover, Tipu Sultan made close friendship with the French, and with the help of the French, he modernized his army with the help of modern techniques, with the help of modern strategies and war weapons. So Tipu Sultan was indirectly preparing himself for a war with the East India company. So students, when the British came to know about all these things, they became very angry. At the same time, they were very worried because they know that Hyder and Tipu were very ambitious, they were very dangerous, and they were very brave. So all these things made the British deeply worried, and they thought of having a battle with Tipu Sultan. So thus, with the purpose of controlling and crushing these powerful rulers, that means Tipu Sultan and his father Hyder Ali, 4 battles were fought. Okay, 4 battles were fought with Mysore. The first battle was fought from 1767 to 1769. The second battle was fought from 1780 to 84. The third one from 1790 to 92, and the fourth one in the year 1799. In all the first 3 wars, the company was defeated. But in the fourth battle, unfortunately, the company was able to achieve victory. The fourth war is known as the Battle of Seringapatam. So in the Battle of Seringapatam, the company was able to defeat Tipu Sultan. So Tipu Sultan was defeated in the Battle of Seringapatam, and he was killed while defending or while protecting his capital. And after his death, after the death of Tipu Sultan, Mysore too was bought under the system of subsidiary alliance. That means after the death of Tipu Sultan, Mysore was taken over by the British, and so the British imposed the system of subsidiary alliance on Mysore as well after the death of Tipu Sultan. So students, today we have discussed about how the British have assumed the title of Nawab. The British, after acquiring the Diwan, they acquired the huge wealth that was available in Bengal. They used the Indian wealth for their own purpose, for meeting their own expenses, and they acquired huge wealth and started considering themselves as the Nawab. So Nawab or Nabob. Nabob is an English version of the word Nawab. Nawab means anyone who is powerful, who has authority, or who has very large amount of wealth. So Nawab is an Urdu word. From that word Nawab, the word Nabob is derived. Nabob is an English version of the word Nawab, and the British officials started considering themselves as Nabobs because of the huge wealth that they possessed after acquiring the Diwan of Bengal. So what happened? Robert Clive acquired a huge sum of wealth, around 401.102 pound, and later on he committed suicide when he was charged with this allegations of corruption. So gradually the company rule started expanding. They started annexing the various territories by adopting political, economic and diplomatic strategies. They started introducing the system of subsidiary alliance, where the rulers were supposed to maintain British army in their armies. They were not supposed to have their own independent armies, and if any Nawab, they were also supposed to make payment for the maintenance of this subsidiary armed forces, and if in case they fail to make the payment, they would have to give a part of their territory as penalty to the British government or to the British official. So meanwhile in Mysore, Hyder Ali was ruling. He was a very powerful ruler. His son was Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan too was very brave and powerful. So when Tipu Sultan stopped the exports of pepper and textile from the Malabar coast, and he even prevented the local merchants from trading with the British got very angry, and they started a battle with the king of Mysore, with the ruler of Mysore, that is Tipu Sultan, and his father Hyder Ali. 4 battles were fought, and in the 4th battle the British achieved victory against Tipu Sultan. He was killed, while defending or protecting his capital, and then Mysore was bought under the system of subsidiary alliance. So students, this is all about today's class. If you have any doubt, any difficulty, please let me know. Next, I am going to give you some question answers in a PDF file. I expect all of you will do the work and show it to me today itself in between 8 to 9 p.m. So students, in case of any difficulty, let me know. On this note, I am going to end this video here. Thank you. Stay safe and have a nice day.